Okay, hello everybody, my name is Abby. Welcome to the video. I'm reviewing the Marvel Rivals Zombies PVE. I'm not gonna waste your time, let's get straight into it. There's so much to talk about, and then in the end, we're gonna give it a nice rating out of 10 and what I think about it as of right now, and what the future of PVE could look like, and how we can improve it, and the good takeaways from the current mode, and what they should keep and what they should improve upon, all that type of stuff. With that being said, let's get into the video. So Marvel Zombies PVE is really fun. I believe this takes place in a alternate universe with its own little lore and storyline of why Wanda is doing what she's doing. So the Scarlet Witch has basically gone completely insane, and the reason for that is because she wants to bring back Vision, or I think she's heartbroken because Vision is dead, etc. And because of this, she's become the Queen of the Dead. She's got Namor, who went away to help out a friend. I think this is the lore. Namor went to help out a friend or something, and he got corrupted in the process by Wanda. And your idea is you're supposed to go through New York and eventually reach Wanda and Namor and beat them, as they're the grand bosses. There is some elite enemies that pop up as well. They're kind of like SWAT soldiers with like really big sticks, and they go crazy. Honestly, on normal difficulty, what you're trying to do is you're trying to learn the loop of the map itself and what to expect from all these enemies. But when you start playing this on the harder difficulty, oh my god, it actually begins to add up, and it's actually really difficult to keep up with everything that's going on. My personal advice for you, if you are new to the Marvel Zombies, I will post a guide later on, maybe tonight or tomorrow, on the channel of how to play the map, what to expect, what are the mechanics. But it is really fun. It's really interesting. So it gets a lot of points for getting the honestly, the replayability aspect. I've not gotten bored of it at all. If anything, I keep trying different customizations with my characters. I'm playing a lot of Magic right now because I am a Magic main. She's one of my main characters to play, and I'm just trying out all the different builds with her and ideas with her. And the next character I played a bit of also was Thor, and then I played Jeff, and there's just so much things you can do with them. For example, coming over to Magic, there's like ways you can take your dash forward in order to destroy the enemies, carry them with you, or grant yourself invincibility in your ultimate. I'm experimenting with all these different things and ideas. It's really cool. Now, the passive system, like there's a little shop system that the game brings up, like in between the rounds, and you're able to buy yourself different passives depending on how you feel in the situation. Honestly, more often than not, you're pretty much just gonna like, stack up on HP and damage. It is pretty much that. Like, it's not that overly complicated, but there are ways to lean into one particular part of your kit, and people should try to do that more often than not, because it does make a big difference. You don't want to divide your blessings too much. You kind of want to have your blessings focused on one thing. What I do is, for example, when I'm playing Magic, I put a lot of emphasis on like the whirl or the minions, because the minions can make a really big difference in when there's a lot of hordes. So what I do is I buy a lot of like the minion focused items, because you can keep re-rolling the shop cards that they keep giving you for the passive blessings, and I lean into a lot of HP. So this way, it's like, in case we get swarmed up in a room a lot, the minions will do a lot of damage and just blow up the room. Now, those cards are a little bit more rare to get, so I will try to boost up my neutral gameplay with like just damage on my sword and things like that. So that's one thing. I really like the card system. I really like the customization. It's not super in-depth, but there's just enough that for a limited time mode and for all like the 5 different characters, there's more than enough time for you to not only level them all up, but also try out all the different builds before you really get bored of the mode. Another thing that I really like about the event itself is that you are progressing the level globally for all the characters. So let's say you play one character. For example, in my first few games I played Magic. Well, as you can see, the points that I have, that let's say I invest into increasing my damage output, or like my ability power for the minion and the base damage. Also, it allows me to unlock upgrades for my ultimate ability. This is shared with the rest of the roster, but it's unique. So well, these abilities are unique to me, right? But like these are locked to level 15, which I'm not there yet. But then if I go over to Thor, you see I've unlocked his little tree over here, and I can also invest points for Thor, depending on where I want to invest them and all that. So you can see assignable points down here is 4, this is 5, this is 7. So it's global, which I really like, because it feels like the event, like, respects your time, and it doesn't make it like a slog fest that, oh, let's say if my team needs a Thor player, well, I don't have to, ultra grind on Thor and then go play harder difficulties. I'm being rewarded and being leveled throughout the entire mode for all the characters unanimously, which is, like I said, a really good thing, right? And another good thing is that you can reset your points in case for like, the build that you want to run, you might want to try something different. You can very much do that. So that's actually another really cool thing about this mod that I really like as well. And as always, you can view the different blessings and like all the like the powers that they give you depending on the characters and everything. So again, just information is really nice to have. So it's just really cool. It's just awesome. Like I'm absolutely in love with the way they've done this. And like I said, it can only go up from here. The fact that they're thinking this far ahead for the PvE, this mode is like a blueprint, right? They're just going to take this and improve it over time, which is, it's just really cool. Now, where does the criticism come in? So, like I said, the setting is great. The character choices were really fun. There's only, like, honestly, so far, like a big, like, early TLDR, if I'm supposed to give it, I might just give it an 8 out of 10. Now, you might be like, Abby, where is the mode losing points for you? Because it sounds like you like a lot of what's being presented. And you know what? I do. I think as a blueprint for the first ever PvE mode and like to set the bar for the future, it actually does a really good job of getting its point across of what to expect and how these systems can evolve over time, which I'm, again, like I said, really excited for. But I will say I like that they leaned more into the horde mode style and not a little bit more like, how do I say this? Like, I don't want to compare it to the sister game Overwatch. I'd rather just look at PvE games that are out there. So it chooses to lean into the horde mode style gameplay loop, which is interesting. The elites are okay. There is a little bit lack of enemy variety that it doesn't bother me that much, because at the end of the day, it's just zombies. Like, yeah, you can do like different types of zombies, but for its first iteration and everything as a PvE approach, I'm kind of okay with it. Like, the typical match is about 10 to 15 minutes. Sometimes it can go to 20 minutes depending on if your team is struggling or not, or people don't know how to play around certain mechanics, etc., etc. So in that regard, I think it's kind of, a little bit more enemy variety is something that I would have liked to see. So that kind of takes away some of the points. One minor thing as well is, like, I wish there was voice line interactions between the characters, but I do understand that this is probably like a little bit more of an issue with them coordinating with Marvel and the voice actors, and like whether they want to take this particular universe seriously or not. Because I like that the bosses themselves have, like, voice lines that hint like of their position in the lore of Marvel Zombies. Because again, I'm not entirely sure if the Marvel Zombies lore in the game is the same as the one from the show or the comics. I do believe it is its own version that's inspired off of everything that's already present, because some of you will know that Jeff and Magic are they have very different fates, and one of them is not even actually present in Marvel Zombies. So I do believe it takes place in its own universe. I think one missed opportunity as well, which again, it doesn't take away too many points. I understand probably, for the cost it might be, or the time it takes to do all of these things. I do wish there was some character dialogue. I do like that Khonshu is narrating and guiding us through the mission. It feels cool. I feel like I'm the soldier of Khonshu, like we're the representatives of Khonshu. We're trying to take back the night, as you will, from the Queen of the Dead. So that is actually really nice. Like, I do like that, but I just feel like, okay, if we could have the characters talk to Khonshu or talk to each other or something like that, trying to communicate and have some back and forth in between, like, you're running around killing the mindless zombies and everything. I think that would be really cool to fill the dead air in the game. That would have been really nice to have. And my final thing is, like, and this is not necessarily a bad thing. I think the way that they have done the boss fights was cool. I do understand that they were kind of just over glorified versions of the existing characters, and doing a little bit of a spin on some of their abilities, and perhaps even giving us a look into future abilities that might come into the game. Because there's some things that I really want to talk about, but this is not the video where I want to talk about it. I do wish there was a little bit more interesting mechanics going on. Now, to be fair, I have only done about 4 runs. There still could be some stuff hidden. So if you're somebody who's like a few more hours in than, at the time of me recording this video on day 1, you might be like, well, Abby, there's this thing, there's that thing. If you play on this difficulty, this happens, that happens. So there is entire possibilities that there is more that is tied to the difficulty and not exactly, where I am. Because I played normal, I played hard, and then I played the difficulty after that. And then, like, I started to realize, okay, I need to upgrade my character. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to normal, and I'm going to level my character up a little bit, and unlock like different things in my tree, unlock some of the new passives for damage, because like it actually feels like, okay, I gotta go back, I gotta power up a little bit more, and then let me revisit the harder difficulty. I will say though, I did notice some different patterns and behaviors in the AI on the harder difficulty. I'm not going to lie, I did notice that. So I am wondering that, hey, like later on as I go, is there gonna be a little bit more? Is there gonna be like, different mechanics that come in? So again, like if that is my benefit of the doubt that I'm not completely aware of, my bad. But I do believe that I've seen mostly everything in my playthrough so far. So like I said, I like the boss fights. They're cool. They're interesting. Wand is definitely the standout compared to the two, because there's only two boss fights, because the map is only so limited, right? And I do like the new zones in the map. I have to say the new zones are really cool and really fun to play into. It, again, like I said, it adds on to the atmosphere. It's just so cool. But I do think that the bosses could have had just a little bit more to do. I do like the mechanics that are there in the Scarlet Witch boss fight, like taking out the crystals, so you kind of power her down and delay the reality erasure, and all stuff like that. So what I like is, like, even though I wish the boss fights could do just a little bit more in terms of something different or interesting going on, I do like the fact that perhaps the reason they chose to make them a little bit more familiar is so that it's easier for people to like understand and know what to expect when they go up against a character like Namor, where it's like, okay, he's got all these squids coming out, we should probably deal with some of the debuffing squids, and then like when Wanda comes out, you gotta watch out for like the time stop ability that she throws out, and like the different mechanics. Like Wanda definitely has a little bit more mechanics compared to Namor, I'm not going to lie, but it's still at the end of the day, in my personal opinion, I still give it a nice 8 out of 10. It is a very recommended mode. I highly recommend it, like, as if your games are not going well, you would just want to chill and play some characters. It's really cool. And only thing that I sadly, I kind of hate to agree with the people that suggested this, because I was like, okay, you know, maybe I might not be that greedy, but I am that greedy. Damn, I kind of wish we had more characters to play with, because the potential for this type of stuff is endless. And I know that it's going to be tied to stories. If we get the X-Men versus the Sentinels, we're going to have the X-Men cast in the game play through it. If we get the Avengers versus the Chitauri, or whatever they decide to lean into, whether it's from the movies or the comics or whatever they do, or the Avengers versus the Ultron bots, you know, the potential is genuinely endless, right? And man, I kind of wish I had more characters to play with, because I'm just having a lot of fun. In fact, as this video goes online, I might just go back and start grinding the mode, because I will try to make a guide on, you know, how to progress through the difficulty. So if you guys are interested in that, give me about maximum 2 days worth of time to sit down, gather some footage for all the different modes and what to expect, how to progress through the modes, how you should be playing your characters, what are some of the best in slot choices for your upgrades, and I'll get back to you with that, hopefully on this channel later throughout this week. Now, with that being said, I'll see you guys in the next video.